Hey everybody, Ryan here from Music City Live. Welcome to the show. I'm here with Avalon Stone. Avalon.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Avalon is a singer, songwriter, performer, and guitar player, among many other talents, I'm sure. And she shared the stage with the Goo Goo Dolls, Big Wreck, JJ Wild, and the Beaches, which I thought was super wild that the universe did this to me, because we literally, the last two episodes in a row, we just had Brendan on and we had Slipper on. And they're both, between the two of them, they either are front of house or tour managed those last three acts.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
That's cool.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's great. I mean, great acts and, Canadian, like, it's just great Canadian bands, like.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So we met at Venue by Venue.
We did.
Another episode, 34, Daryl Hers.
Yeah.
Good buddy of mine. So yeah, that was my first time attending Venue by Venue.
Really?
It was. And he's like, oh man, you got to come out to this venue crawl that I do. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I told him, I'm like, dude, I haven't done a pub crawl in 20 years.
It's not a standard bar crawl.
Yeah. I'm like, I haven't done a pub crawl in 20 years. I don't think I've ever done one in London that included Old East Village either.
Really?
Yeah. So that was pretty wild, but fun, super fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope he does Venue by Venue here again. But yeah, that was awesome. And then we ended up at the Richmond at the end. That was kind of where we ended. And you were playing.
I was playing.
And that was amazing. Because that was the first time I'd seen you live. I've heard about you. I think I mentioned it to you that night.
Yeah.
Through my studio engineer, Aaron Murray.
Right. Right.
He had talked about you,
Yeah.
and then I got to see you play, and you were awesome.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you happened to show up when I was playing.
Yeah.
It's always nice, like, I like it when the bar crawls end kind of when I'm going on.
Yeah.
It's a nice nice
Take
setup.
the peak of the night there.
Yeah, because like I've played a bunch of bar crawls and they're always really fun, but it's like there's definitely good good slots and bad slots. So
Yes.
and you never know where people are gonna be at what time. So they're always kind of a gamble. But venue by venue, it was so much fun, and like, I mean, Daryl's great. The whole thing was super well put on, and I met a lot of people, and that's how I got my connection to the festival I'm playing in Brazil.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm super grateful for the opportunity to play venue by venue, and then
So it works.
it does work.
That's cool.
It does work. Yeah,
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you were born and grew up where?
Kitchener,
Kitchener, That's cool. And still there?
still there.
Okay, cool. And
Yeah.
how did you get into music? What was the first sort of thing that got you into the music?
Well, I mean, I always, like every little girl, I liked singing along to like, Bruno Mars and Maroon 5 and whatever was on, on the radio. And Christina Aguilera, loved that. And my mom was in a cover band. She just like sang every now and then at bars and had that whole thing going on. And so I would hear them practicing. We had a 2-story living room growing up. It was just like a really weird format. It wasn't a big house. It was just like the living room was really big. And then so I could exit my room and then like lean over the railing and kind of see them rehearsing in the living room.
Oh, cool.
And I always loved watching them. And then I took vocal lessons, but I just never loved singing pop. Like it wasn't my thing, but that's all I was listening to. I didn't really know what else there was. And then just happened to be that my mom forgot to book me for a week of summer camp. And they always close out like 3 or 4 months before, right? Like you got to get them, And so one week I didn't have one, but there was still a spot open at School of Rock songwriting camp. Okay. So that's where I went, and I did songwriting camp at School of Rock, and immediately just fell in love with it. Wow. And yeah, like they were like, okay, so here are the chords. Like, does anyone have ideas on what to do next? And I immediately just be like, what if we did this? What if we did this? And it was just, that was when I was like 10, yeah. And it was just organic. And then I joined their performance program, and then rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, The next question usually I ask is like, did your parents support your musical journey?
Right.
But I think you just answered that
They
question.
very much did and still do. Like, they actually are, they showed me that it is not a like bad decision to do it if you are really like, if you feel like that is your calling and that's your passion and you have a plan. They were like, don't go to university, like do music. And I was like,
Wow.
whoa, like to know that somebody believes in me that much made me believe in myself. And I think that made it a lot easier to make the leap and choose to do this full time, because I always loved it. But everyone kind of scares you about it, right? It's like it's impossible to make it, and like no one ever does anything, and like all of these things, right? But it is possible, and if you really want to go for something, do it. So
Yep.
yeah.
Go all in.
Yeah,
I tell people all the time.
exactly.
You
Like, if
gotta
you're
go
gonna
all
do
in.
it, do it right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, and people don't always see what the work that goes into that. Like, it's easier to say than to do.
It is. I think, if I had been a different person and I wasn't ambitious and like, a go-getter, like it would have been different. But I was raised like that. And
Nice.
that's why I was like, oh, I'm going to go to university. I was going to go get a doctorate in neuropsychology. I was like an academic. Like, I would put hours and hours and hours a day into studying and learning. And so I was like, well, why don't I just use that energy for music? Why don't I just put all of that energy into learning about the business, learning about what makes a good song, like what really goes on, like how to connect with people, how to perform, watch a bunch of performance videos, watch a bunch of how to sing, learn how to sing like really well, learn how to play guitar, and I've always been a learner. So I think they saw that and they were like, you obviously are ambitious. So if you want to do it, like, I don't think you should go to university. I think you should do what you love.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that. Some of the people I've interviewed haven't had that. Some have. Some people I know haven't had it. Some have. Having a supportive family can be two-sided. You can get the momagers that are like, well, like overprotect the artist too. And not that can be a bad thing in the beginning, for sure.
Right.
But eventually, the artist needs to kind of come into their own and to do their own thing. And but having that parent support is incredible, because not everybody has it. And if you don't have it, you can still make it happen. It's just, you got to work that much harder.
And a lot of people do.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just also like, it's a confidence thing. I think it's funny because I have people in my life who are also in music and doing really well. And like, I'm super big fans of them. And they talk to me and they're like, oh, my parents, like, complete opposite. They hated the idea of me doing music. They basically like, they would always talk to me about how it was a bad idea and I was stupid and blah, blah, blah. And so all of this is out of spite. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you can have that. Well, and also like love for music, obviously. But I feel like when you have a bunch of people telling you you can't do something, it's human nature to be like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you
totally.
really love it, and you feel like you can. And also rebellion against your parents is like a huge thing as well. So
Sure.
there's that. But then if you have also really super supportive parents, and like, it's just interesting because like, I probably wouldn't be as confident as I am if I didn't have the supportive parents that I have. It's
Right.
just like how you grow up, and like literally nature versus nurture, like how, like, some people are better off with parents that don't support it because they can turn that into something, and that people whose parents are supportive don't have. But then people whose parents are supportive, there's also so many wonderful things to that. And I'm so lucky. Like, I feel so glad that I do. I just think it's so interesting how that support and how the people who move around you, like, talk to you and interact with you, it can have completely differing effects, but also land you in the same spot.
Yep.
Just, you know.
Well, everybody's journey's different, but
Yeah.
sometimes you get to the same spot at certain
Yeah.
points in the journey, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. But yeah, I feel very lucky to have the support I do.
Amazing. So the name Avalon Stone,
Yeah.
where does this come from?
Well, my name is Avalon. But I didn't want to do the last name that I have. It didn't feel very rock and roll to me.
I get that.
Yeah. So, and like also that had been associated with a lot of projects that I've done in the past, and I wanted to start fresh. No hate. Like I'm super grateful for everything that I have done under my own name and like all the things that I did when I was growing up, but I don't want it to, like, if I'm starting a solo project, I'm like, okay, let's wipe the slate in terms of like, you know, you can find out my real name. It's Avalon Pritchard, but you know, like you can find that out. But it's like I want people to, when they look up Avalon Stone, only see Avalon Stone stuff, and then have that separation also, like, because music is so personal and I get so vulnerable in my music, like it's kind of a safety net too thing to have it be like a little bit of a different name so that I don't feel like it's completely, it's less scary because I'm like, if I'm going out there as Avalon Bridger versus Avalon Stone, there is a difference because Avalon Stone is like more confident and, you know, it's like I still have all of those personality traits and aspects of me in my personal life, but it's what I choose to amplify or what I choose to dim, you know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what does the name represent as for you as an artist?
Right.
But that's
That's
exactly.
basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a persona. It's just a different headspace,
Ah,
you know?
Yep.
And
I get that.
I like that. You know, I can save my own personal stuff for, you know, my friends, my family, my partner, like all of those things. And then I can have a different thing, you know?
Yep.
It's just a little bit less daunting and a little bit more like, creates a healthy separation between like, you know, who I am on stage versus off stage, you know?
Cool. So School of Rock, 10 years old. What happened after School of Rock? You got into performing?
Yeah. Well, so they had a performance program, which I did, and then I did their house band. My first show was when I was 10. And we did like a California program. All of the programs are themed, right? And so it was a California program, and I did, I think it was anyway. I did Coaches by Audio Slave
Oh, yeah.
at the ripe age of 10.
Nice.
I also did like Roadhouse Blues by the Doors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Loser by Beck, and also Interstate Love Song, Stone Temple Pilots.
Wow.
So quite a range.
I love all
for
those songs.
I know, great songs, great picks. I came into the program really late, like there were only 4 weeks until the performance. But they just kind of were like, you should sing these songs. Like your voice would sound really good. And I had never heard of any of these songs before. Like, you know, what 10-year-old knows the Doors?
Yeah,
you know?
this is it.
Like what 10-year-old knows Beck? Like I didn't know, you know what I mean? I was like, whoa, what is all of this? Especially Chris Cornell. Like Chris Cornell, I will still say to this day, top influence.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely. Yeah. Just because he was so dynamic and he was so raw and real, and I still look up to him so much. That song Coaches is what made me fall in love with rock music, because it was like the first one that I had heard, and I was like, wow, like this is really, really awesome. And I did other things after that, like, you know, I was in a blues band at one point, and I played blues festival, went down to Memphis, played a blues festival down there.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I also love blues. I have a huge blues influences too. Like I was in the Grand River Blues Camp for many years. Met so many amazing people and mentors there, and like, yeah, I really got to, like, I'll always say, you know, everybody says this, but blues is the roots of music. So once you understand the blues, it makes everything just feel better, like sync better. I don't know. It's like it just makes everything deeper, I think.
Deeper is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for me before I did blues and I was singing rock, I was like, oh yeah, it's about anger and like being angsty and about being edgy and attitude. And because that's what I was taught. I was like, it's about attitude. But I didn't know what that meant. I thought that was just like get in people's face and like be aggressive and like, you know what I mean? But then when I started doing blues, I realized that attitude can be soft and it can be inward and it can be hardened. Like it can be like stoicism. It can be an amplification of internal battles. It doesn't have to be like getting in other people's faces. And I think after learning that and after performing like that and feeling the songs like that, then when I did the rock stuff, it was like, oh, like I can do that there too. And it makes it feel so much more impactful than before. So having that experience and having mentors that kind of taught me those things was really, really valuable. So yeah, like, I mean, I did a bunch of stuff, tried to singer-songwriter stuff for a while, but I always go back to rock. So.
Yeah, it's sounds like one of your earliest influences and something that you connected with. Yeah, it's an energetic thing, I think. Like I connected with rock too when I was super young.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad, similar to your mom, my dad was playing in cover bands, and he did some original stuff.
Yeah.
And I also got the chance to kind of hang out and watch them rehearse, not too far from where we're sitting. Actually, they used to rehearse on the second floor here. And yeah, but I think there's something energetic, especially with certain artists and certain styles and genres too, that young people can still connect with. Like this is timeless. And blues as a genre is one of those. Like I helped my dad out for a couple of years. He ran the Blues Fest here in London. And I feel like that music is universal. Like even if you haven't heard of the artist or you don't know the song, you know, you can still connect with it. You're right when you like deep is a real good way to put it. There's a real authenticity about a lot of the music that those people are putting out, right? Like it's this sort of real this real part of them that they're able to put out into the world in the deepest possible way, but still there's some type of like connection, like this you know, this want and this need to connect with people through it, right? Like it's a really, and they have, I mean, John Mayer's on record for saying that that's a massive part of his influence.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, you know,
You can hear that.
He's one of the top guitar players in the world right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I had a chance to see him play when we were in LA. We were down in LA and we got to see him play at the 40th anniversary of PRS. It was a really cool show. And, you know, and there was a lot of other people up there too that and you could hear that they were all, you know, influenced by the blues. So yeah, I think it's an energy thing.
Yeah. It's feeling its soul,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like,
Totally.
I mean, if you think about, you know, where blues came from, like, I think it's really important to recognize that. And it's about suffering and it's about hardships and it's about pain. And you can feel that in the music. And like, I just have so much respect for blues musicians, you know, and because it really is, it wasn't like, oh, you know, what's the catchiest thing to do? Or like, oh, how does this note fall here? Or it's just like, how does it feel? And that was the most important thing. Like, how does it tell the story that I'm dealing with right now? And, you know, all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's absolutely amazing. So I think that when you look at guitar playing, right, and you look at somebody who just shreds all over the place, it's like, how many notes can I play? You know, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like that. There's a place for that. There's a place for that.
There is.
And then you look at, you know, people like John Mayer or people like Ian Thornley, right? Who you can tell like everything is so felt out, like, but also thought out. But then there are other people who are just feeling, like people who just feel like Prince, you know, like Jimi Hendrix, like, you know what I mean? Like where where you're just like, oh, you can feel like there's so much blues influence there because you are picking something that feels right in that moment and not like what's going to sound the best or how many notes can I play? You know what I mean? And there's so many things that you can take things from each of them and implement them in ways that are incredible and amazing. Absolutely. But it's just like you can really tell like who feels something more, what it feels like to feel a solo rather than listen to a solo and be like, oh, that's really cool. You know what I mean? And both are so valuable, but it's just really interesting to like, to just hear that influence and hear like what people grew up on or like what people have learned or like, and it comes down to mentors too. Like,
absolutely.
You know?
For sure. It's funny you bring up Prince because there's, the Super Bowl just passed and they still rate Prince's Super Bowl as the #1 performance ever, right? And there's a reason. Like I watched, there's a behind the scenes video that I showed a bunch of my buddies on when we were watching. After we watched the Super Bowl, we were rewatching like the last 20 years of Super Bowl halftime shows for something to do at night. But I showed him that behind the scenes video of like, the fact that Prince is up there and it's pouring rain and he's like, can you make it rain harder? Like, you know what I mean? Like he used it as like a special effect rather than like a hindrance. Right. But there's a video of him performing Purple Rain, like one of the first times he performed Purple Rain live. And he just, and there's this part in the beginning where, he just plays, they keep playing the intro part over and over and over and over and over. And it's funny because they're like, normally, someone would get like bored of that and tired of that before the vocal came in and be like, all right, what's next on YouTube? But he does it. There's so much emotion, there's so much feeling in his playing that you just get sucked in, like you just get mesmerized in this sort of intro, if you will, before he starts singing. In my opinion, probably one of the best performance videos caught of Prince out there, period, was that. And I rewatch that all the time. Yeah. But yeah, that the connection thing is huge. And if there was there a for anyone young that's watching, is there a one or two sort of blues acts that you would recommend people check out?
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Or artists.
Ooh. I feel like I don't keep up to date.
Well, anyone that influenced you.
Yeah, like I would say, it's funny because to me it was less about the original players of the songs, and it was like Kitchener has such a strong blues scene.
That's true.
That like most of the things that I learned were from watching people from my city play. There's so much talent, and like, yeah, I do love blues. I prefer it in person. So I don't like listen to it a lot on Spotify or whatever streaming platform or vinyl or whatever you use. But just people from my city that I remember when I first started at the blues camp, like I was 12 or 13 and I listened to the songs. I'm like, wait, like these are cool. And then they had a bunch of the teachers who are like seasoned musicians who are absolutely incredible. And they had the teachers play a few of them. And then I was like, oh my God, what is this? And it's like, oh, like that's when it inspired me, was like, it was like how I felt watching it was like, whoa, like what is this? This is so powerful. How did you make it sound like so powerful, without being heavy, without being like, like lots of drums. It's just the feeling is heavy. Like it feels nasty, without being heavy. Yeah, it's like, I think that like heaviness, like I love metal, I love blues. I think both of them are heavy in their own ways. And also the same with rock. Like a lot of the time, like you listen to a rock song, if it's not hard rock and you're like, this is heavy, like, whoa, this is really heavy. And I think it's about perceiving the emotional depth in it. And that is what inspired me. So I would say, honestly, performance videos is a great idea for blues. I wouldn't even know what to recommend. I mean, you could watch like from, blues musicians, like the original blues musicians from like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Look at Elvis's influences, you know what I mean? And like watch them play and like, and all of that kind of stuff. So I think that's a really good idea. Jimi Hendrix, to me, I'm like, if you're into rock, like it's like blues rock.
Especially if you have a guitar in your hand.
Exactly. Listen to some, like, look at Jimi Hendrix, like watch him play, listen to that stuff. Like there's a few Led Zeppelin songs that are really bluesy, and I love specifically some of my favorites. This is probably controversial, but I really like Since I've Been Loving You and Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. To me, like those songs are like so powerful. And I know that's like more of a, it's not original blues, but it's influenced and it still has power to me and like real feeling to it. So yeah, like those two songs to me, I love a slow blues. Slow blues is my favorite.
Yeah.
So,
I get that.
that's just my personal preference, but yeah.
So when you were younger, was there any challenges you faced?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
What were some of them?
See, like when I was younger, it wasn't normal challenges. I mean, I was bullied in school, like a little bit, picked on. That's normal. But I was also bullied outside of school by like grown men. And not like the normal sense, but like, and I still face this where being in a setting where it's male dominated for whatever reason, there are some people who want to take you down a peg and be like, you don't belong here, or like, you're always going to get that in a male dominated space as a woman, like it happens. It's unfortunate. But I still have like, I still can't wrap around like my head around doing it to like a 12-year-old girl, where it's like, oh, you shouldn't be up here. You don't know how to sing the blues. Like, like where's your heels? Where's your dress? Like, why are you wearing jeans on stage? Like, you should be in a dress and heels if you're going to be a girl and singing on stage. Right. And like, and then there's the like, the kind of people who like to assert dominance in terms of like making you feel uncomfortable, like as a woman, by like invading your personal space or making comments that just like throw you off and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Right. So I did deal with a lot of that at a really young age. Wow. Which was really difficult. Like, and I will say that it did affect me a lot, in terms of like, I talk about that in one of my songs called Harder. Mm-hmm. It's talking about, my song Harder is, I mean, it's a ballad. It's like a blues rock ballad. So, same space.
Yep.
And that song is literally about getting to an age where I start to understand what people were really saying to me and what people were really like, the vibes were, you know what I mean? Like, I lost my like rose-colored glasses because I learned more about the world. Mm-hmm. And that's what the song's about, is like, oh, I didn't know that this is what was happening. And it's like a loss of innocence of being like, if I had, like, I wish I hadn't gone through that, or I wish people hadn't shown me that soon. I wish I didn't know that at such a young age, you know? Right. And I think a lot of musicians and a lot of people deal with that in some way, you know, whether it's like going through a traumatic experience as a child, or going through like, you know, like low income households and growing up like that, or, you know, knowing addicts, or like people who struggle with mental health. And all of these things are so real. And for me, it was being basically exposed to a lot of adult things at a really young age, because I was in bars. Yeah. Like people were drinking around me. A lot of the people I was hanging out with were older than me. So being exposed to certain things that was a big challenge for me, learning how to navigate that and how to not like let it affect me too much and just kind of like let it roll off my shoulder. I would say like that's where my spike comes in, is, you know, because we were talking about spite earlier and how you can use it. And for me, it's like I think about certain people who have said things to me, like certain men who are like in their 70s when I'm 12, or like 60s and 70s, being like, you can't do this, like you're not good enough, or like being really weird to me, making things really uncomfortable. And I'm like, screw you. Like, I know what you were trying to do, and you were trying to make me feel uncomfortable and take me down a peg and make me feel like I can't do this and I'm not powerful. You were trying to take away my power, and I'm not going to let that happen.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I learned how to use that and be powerful in the face of that, which that took a lot of time and effort, but got there, and I still deal with that. Like I still, you know, like I'll show up to a venue and they'll be like, "Oh, are you someone's girlfriend?" And I'm like, "No."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or, you know, like they'll be like, "Oh, do you know how to like," just like, you know, like I'll have a guitar in my hand. They're like, "Oh, you know how to like, do you know how to do this?" Or like, "Do you know how to do this?" I'm like, "Yep. Yeah, I know how to do that." Yeah. Or it's like, I played a show the other day, last week, and we were doing like a line check, and I got on the mic and I started checking, and the sound guy was like, "Okay, like you need to check louder." And I'm like, "Yep, I'm checking louder." And I kept doing that, and he was like, "I really need you to check so much louder for me, sweetheart." I was like, "Sweetheart? What the hell?" You wouldn't call a guy sweetheart.
Yeah, right.
You would never, you would not do that.
I'm not your
to me.
sweetheart.
Yeah, like, who are you calling sweetheart? Like, I'll literally scream in your face.
You're not my mom.
Yeah, like, it's different when it's like, you know, it's my mom or it's my family. But if I'm in a professional setting and it's like, I know that you would not say that to a guy.
So
you know what I mean?
So at this point in your journey, you can probably, you know, identify and realize what some of the women in rock went through to get to where they are.
I can't even imagine what it used to be like.
Like now we have things like cell phones with cameras
Yeah.
to protect, you know.
And you can like, you know, say your story
yeah,
and like
but
post
can you
it
imagine like 30 plus years ago with these women coming up in rock music?
I can't even.
There was no way to even document some of the chaos.
I can't even imagine.
They just had to tell their truth and hope people believed them.
And usually that's not the case,
right?
You know, and that's unfortunate. And I think about that. I'm like, wow, you know, if I went through that in this day and age where, you know, it was like 2014, 2015 when I started, like this was after like the Me Too movement. Like this was like after like, you know, leaps and bounds in the direction of equality for women. And it's like, well, like, you know, and it's just like wild to think about how much women back then and people of like minority in some way had to put up with, because there's not just sexism, there's racism everywhere. It's just, you know, like ingrained, and like same thing, like male dominated spaces with women, like, you know, I can understand, like I can try to understand, I can try to empathize, and like I just can't even imagine what it used to be like back then. And it makes sense why there's not as many like famous women of rock from back then.
Yeah, I mean there's layers to it, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the layers that people talk about is is the challenges. The other layer, of course, is that it's harder for women to get guy fans, right? So women get women fans, I'm more talking pop culture, right? Like pop music, on the pop side.
Yeah, pop music.
And so, which again, based on what you said initially, your influences were and what you were singing along with, right?
Yeah.
Is where a lot of women think they want to go.
Right.
Now you took a different path.
I did.
Which, is really cool. Because there's not an absolute ton of women in rock, but I'm surrounded by them, weirdly enough.
That's awesome.
The girls from Kitty, recorded here.
That's sick.
In the studio downstairs, with Dan, and I've known Mercedes and then my whole life. Mercedes helped me. Actually, was part of the team that helped create the percussion department here.
Wow.
But I mean, it's a different path, and I just think it's interesting that more women nowadays don't do it, don't try to do it. But I think that you're hitting all the right nails on the head with it. It's like it's still an uphill battle.
It is,
and I think that as men in the industry, we can do better. Like we can, and we are. I mean, it's more. I think as a whole, the industry is way more supportive now than we used to be, for sure. Absolutely. But there's still, I feel there's still a lot of room for improvement there.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
It just guys in the industry just not being idiots, like
exactly, right?
calling you sweetheart.
Exactly. And it's like, that probably wasn't intended in a super mean way. I mean, like he did act out in other ways where I was like, I know you're trying to take me down a peg. Like, I know what's happening. But I feel like there's just a thing where it's like, you don't realize that it's like calling me sweetheart isn't intrinsically rude or mean or demeaning, except it's about context. It's about, would you say that to a guy? Would you say that to any other lead singer that is not a woman? Would you? And if the answer is no, probably shouldn't say it. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, obviously context, but like, it's about being like respectful and also like understanding that there's so much nuance, but like, I feel like things like that bother me because I did deal with that when I was younger too. Yeah. And it's like, I know things have happened to people I know, and I know that my mom growing up was called sweetheart in meetings, and I know like all of these things, right? And like how my nana was treated when she was working, you know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like as a woman, like I know that women, we think that deep about it. You know what I mean? Like it does go that deep for us. And I feel like it's about recognizing like, oh, things have actually happened where like people have tried to take you down a peg. And even if that's not like your headspace, it's like keeping that in mind where it's like your words, like obviously not to like walk on eggshells, but to be just aware of like making sure that you're treating a woman like you would treat one of your guy friends. You know what I mean? Or like a band that you really love like comes in and like you respect the singer, and it's like same respect for everybody else. Doesn't matter what gender or whatever, right? It's like just treat everybody with respect. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that is a big thing, and I love that you say that, because I think it's like it has definitely gotten a lot better, but obviously there's still room to grow in everything, you know what I mean? Absolutely. It's like, and I love that, I think it mostly is about like just noticing things that happen and calling out behavior.
Yeah, and on the other end, people have to own up to it, right?
Yeah.
Like, people got to own it. You know what? Everybody can make a bad call or make a mistake.
Yeah.
But you got to own it, and
Absolutely.
you got to do better.
Absolutely. There's like, I've made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's about like, what do you do after that? Like how do you move forward with that? You know what I mean? And Absolutely. So I love that. I love that perspective.
I think no matter whether you're, no matter what what you identify as. If you got enough passion and you got enough of what it takes to stay in this business, then you're going to become something.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately, if you're in this industry, whether you're an artist or you're a fellow artist or a sound person or a touring manager or whatever, if you want to remain in this business too, you don't know where that person's going to end up.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, I think, we've made mistakes in the past, but going forward, I think there's a way for everybody to coexist and get along and do better.
Yeah, that's
Did you have any mentors growing up?
I did. I had a lot of mentors. I got really lucky that in these spaces there were also a lot of people who are great people. Like at School of Rock, I had this one instructor, Jay Leonard, and I'm still friends with him. He was a drummer. He ended up teaching me guitar lessons later, and he just taught me so much about like unique facets of music and like how to act with people. And there's this band that I love in town in Kitchener called Romeo Sex Fighter.
Okay.
And they're like
interesting name.
Like yeah. I mean it was just a random name. It's nothing to do.
I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And they're great guys, and I would always want to go like see their shows because I love their shows. They play cover songs, but they're just absolutely incredible musicians. So he's a part of that. And so like when my friends would be like, oh yeah, like I want to go to this show, and they'd be of age to get in and I wouldn't, they would like put me on the guest list and then have me come up and sing so that I could be VIP, so that I could go to the show. You know what I mean? And then also, like, while I was there, like, they'd make sure that everything was good and, like, they'd keep an eye on me and things like that, where it's like, oh, like, people can really exist in a space and, like, have super, super good intentions and, like, be so helpful in terms of, like letting me be around music like that. I feel like that's so important, is being around music and being in the moment and being around musicians that are incredible. And his wife, Alana Mary, she taught me vocals at Blues Camp, small world.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and she taught me so much about not just vocals, but about like existing as a woman in a male-dominated space. And I have so many women mentors like that, like Cheryl Lescombe from Blues Camp.
Cheryl?
You know Cheryl.
Yeah, she's great.
She's incredible. She is the one that convinced me to pick up an instrument, because she was like, she literally sat me down, I think I was like 13, and she was like, you're a great singer. You got it. You got what it takes. I don't say that to anybody, but I'm going to say it to you. But you need to pick up an instrument so people take you seriously. Okay. And I remember that moment so strongly as being like, oh, like people, like, if people believe in you, they're going to like tell it to you straight. Be like, this is what you need to do. You know, and I'm lucky that I had that. They care, you know, rather than like, oh, you did so good, or you're so great, or like blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, how do you make it in the industry? Not just how can you get better at vocals, not just how can you get better at performing, but how can you like stand out? How can you carve out a space for yourself in a already saturated industry, right? Or community, where it's like, I was trying to get into a community that was already so like tightly knit. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how do you carve out a space? How do you make space for yourself? And also, how do you just exist around people? Like, how do you interact with people, especially musicians? Like, it's different. You know what I mean? And not in a negative way. It's just like, or any kind of way. I would say, you know, positive for me, because I feel like I mesh really well with musicians, because, you know, you share a love for the same thing. Absolutely. Right? And but it's very different than like again, like I was into academics. So very different, like, you know, being around academics and then being in bars and musicians who like have been through things or, you know, like have all of these lived experiences and just learning how to exist in that. And yeah, and also a mentor of mine was Robert Reed, and he still is. And he taught me how to play bass. And
that's cool.
yeah, and he, like, I still play with him. He plays guitar, and for my singer-songwriter stuff, or just acoustic stuff that I play on the side sometimes, he plays guitar with me. He's the nicest man, and he's so wise. And I think having those people around me just really, and more, but like, you know, just really made me feel like I was taken seriously, like as a real person and not just a kid.
The mentoring thing is a real thing.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. And I feel blessed to have had some mentors myself.
Yeah.
And to have met mentors of some other very successful people. And I don't think we do that enough. Like, I don't think that we mentor enough. It used to happen all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, we used to call them tribes, right?
Yeah.
And there was this thing called tribal knowledge. And the tribal knowledge would be passed down, right, through the generations, right? And I feel like since the dawn of the internet, there's been less of that. You know, because and it's from both sides. Like, I think, you know, like the mentoring side, it's like, well, you know, just go online and learn, right? And then it's the same on the other side where the artist's like, well, I don't need to learn that because I'll just Google it, or I'll just you know, I'll go on YouTube. Yeah, exactly, right? And so, but there's something there's an incredible amount that's lost, right? In the fabric, and you don't realize it until maybe you get to my age or older, is you realize like how important some of that stuff is. Some of that stuff that has been passed down from generation to generation, whether it's, you know, a certain way to do something, or a certain you know, way to cook something, or a certain way to play something on a guitar or whatever. But you know, I think that that mentorship, we need more of that. We need way more mentorship, way more of that tribal knowledge being passed around. Some of the most successful countries in the world and successful genres in the world are because people share and people want to bring everyone up, right? And I know that's not traditionally in North America. That's not really done as much. It's like, oh, I'm not telling you how I played that part because it's my part. You know,
it's very cutthroat.
Yeah, and I think that that's very interesting, because when I go overseas to Europe and I talk to some of the people there in certain genres, they're like, no, like we're all doing well, and we all want each other to do well. So we're all going to build each other up. So there's a different thing there, and there's something to be said about how many bands have come out of the UK. Like, it's an incredible amount, and there's a lot of thought. There's a lot of that there. You know, episode 5, friend of mine, Eddie Gordon, shout out to Eddie. You know, he comes from there, and he's founded and created an incredible amount of careers over his years in the industry. And it was all about coming up with ideas and sharing and getting the right people for the job. And it was never about necessarily looking outward. He was always looking inward and trying to create the best thing that he possibly could at that time. And the thing I always say about people like him are that they can see the end of the road. Right? They can literally see the very end of the road, the end of the journey. They can see what that looks like, and they can help you pave the path to get there. You know, and those are super unique people. But hopefully, if you find them, and they're nice enough to mentor you, like they were me and other people. It sounds like you had some of those too, and it's great. It's a great thing. I think there should be more of this.
Yeah, and I also think that, like, you shouldn't stop looking for mentors either. I feel like a lot of people run into that where they're like, oh, like, I already know so much. Like, you know, like, or I'm very set in my ways and I have a perspective on how to do things, or I have blah, blah, blah. But then they'll be like, oh, I don't know how to navigate this. It's like, ask somebody who's navigated it. And then I feel like that's a very lost thing, that people don't really go and ask for help a lot. Where it's like,
Yeah, don't be afraid.
yeah, don't be afraid to like literally ask people to like to share with you on how they navigated a situation, or ask for their advice, or just like say, can we go for coffee and let me pick your brain about something? It's like, you know, I feel like that's a very lost thing, and not a lot of people do it, and it's very valuable. I still do it. I should do it more, but you know, I feel like a lot of people with social media, like they watch people. They watch people do well. They watch people go through these releases and have these really cool shows and these opportunities. And they're like, oh, how did they do it? How did they do it? Why don't you ask them?
Yeah.
You know, and that's for me too. It's
No,
like,
it's
you know?
everybody. I feel like, you know what? I feel like my comment on that is, I feel like it's a lot of the people that are non-assertive and that are like that, and they just don't want to feel vulnerable. Right? That's the key.
Yeah.
Is they don't want to feel vulnerable, because what if the person says no?
Right.
Right? Or what if they make fun of them? Or what if, you know what I mean? But the thing is that I think you have to, you know, you can't just go around asking literally anyone.
No.
Like, I think you have to, it has to be someone that you really connect with.
Yeah.
And then I think that, you know, if you genuinely, because people like me who are a little older and have some life experience in the biz, I mean, we recognize very quickly when someone is super passionate and when they really want to do something. And there's a lot of us out there that are good people, and we will absolutely foster that and give you any advice that
So
you
many good
can.
people.
And
Yeah.
you know, but I think that but you have to put yourself out there to those people specifically.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that people that you vibe with and that you think can connect with you and can help further you in some way. But you have to put yourself out there, because if you never do, you'll never get there.
Nope.
You need to build a tribe. You need to build a team.
Exactly.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, I always say, like, you gotta get out there. You gotta be around people. You gotta, like, but it's not just like, you know, randomly saying like, oh, let's go to this bar tonight. It's like, no. Like, oh, is there a band that you've been meaning to check out that's like one of your friends has talked about, that's like local, and they're just playing like the local music venue, and you know a couple people that are going that you admire, or you want to like maybe, you know, like be introduced to somebody or like whatever. And then it's like, oh, like if that's happening, it's like, oh yeah, definitely I'll go. You know, it's like because you're like, oh, there's somebody there that I really want to talk to. Or there have been so many moments that I've created for myself. Like, if you think about, like, you know, people are like, oh, how did you get here? It's like, oh, because I somehow, chance of luck, ran into this person. It's like, okay, if you don't go out, that luck doesn't present itself.
Yes.
So it's also
Correct.
about like creating that. You know what I mean? You can obviously get lucky as well, and it doesn't always work. But like, you know, if you put yourself, the more that you present yourself to the world in a way that makes sense for you and like is aligned with you and aligned with your music and what you're doing, the better, because the more opportunities will come of it, because somebody will see that, or somebody will be like, oh, like I might have seen you like a couple of times, or like I've seen you, your name is Avalon, right? Or like, you know, or it's like maybe you didn't even know a friend of yours was going to be there and they happen to know somebody there and they're like, oh, here's an introduction. And like there's just been so many moments where it's like I haven't even planned for that to happen, but I went out to a show and it's like, oh, something happened because I went out there. You know, like if you want to be a part of a community, you got to show up as well. Like you can't just like ask for support and then not provide it as well. So it's like, it's just about being active in your community and like, and trying to meet people. And I don't know. Yeah. Like I think I think you will meet people, like good people like that. You know, if you just try and show up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we already touched on this a bit, but how did growing up in Kitchener influence your path, your journey?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the blues aspect of it.
Yeah. I
F-
mean, I think that's mostly, I think like that was the real power growing up in Kitchener, like is having all of those experiences and the blues community that was there. And yeah, you know, say what you will about bad experiences, but I think those also really helped me in a way, you know, shaped like, you know, shaped aspects of me and, you know, inspire songs and inspire concepts and inspire like, you know, all these things, right? Pay your dues. But yeah, so I think, yeah, literally that. It's difficult because Kitchener's, it's not like big. There's not a lot going on. So it's hard to, I know a lot of people who are extremely talented and incredible musicians that like stay in Kitchener. You know what I mean? And I think growing up in Kitchener, it's like any small town, you know, it's like there's only like a couple of people who have made it out. And that
Sure.
can be discouraging. It's not like when you like live in Toronto and you're like, oh, you know, Justin Bieber, Drake, The Weeknd, Nickelback, Avril Lavigne, like, you know what I mean? It's like you can list off a bunch of names. But when you're small towns, and I'm sure that's same everywhere, but even harder when you're Canadian because the infrastructure and there's just the population is smaller for over a huge country. There's just not as many people that like you can see like, oh, like I know this person who knows this person that made it out. Or like there's like this person who's like a household name that made it out. And I think seeing so much talent stay in Kitchener, which to be fair, probably most of them wanted that or a lot of them wanted that. For me, I always wanted it to be bigger than that. And I was just like, what if I just stay here? You know, I don't want to stay in one place ever. And I think growing up in a city with a lot of talent and a lot of incredible people and like also having the, you know, perspective to say like, oh, like this should be so much bigger. This should be so much bigger. Like, I wish this was bigger. And then like so many times is like, it's a bit discouraging, which is why I'm really happy that I had supportive parents. Because I think I would have gotten in my head about that. Otherwise, I do that a lot.
Do you find yourself traveling a bit now, though? That like going to Toronto and going to other places a lot?
Oh yeah, I'm always in a different place. It feels like I love Kitchener. I love staying in Kitchener. Love Toronto. This is my second time in London this week.
Okay.
And
cool.
I was in Oshawa last weekend, and then. Yeah, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I played London Music Hall.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm around.
You're traveling.
Yeah.
You're getting out there.
Yeah, I get out there and I go down to LA every once in a while. And,
Nice.
you know, I love it there.
Yeah.
People are really nice if
Yeah.
you know where to go.
If you know where to go.
Yeah.
Go to the right places.
Yeah,
yes.
go to the right places. There are a lot of really good people in LA.
There is,
Yeah.
yeah. I've met some I got some friends who moved down there who are really cool.
Yeah, I love Canadians that live in LA. Specifically, my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah,
My favorite.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the importance of having good people on your team?
Literally the most important.
Really?
Like one of the most important things, I would say. Like obviously the way that you train your perspective and you fight your fear on a day-to-day basis and you like train your craft and you trust your ear and you trust your intuition and you build that and you build yourself, the team around you should like they reflect you just as much as you reflect you, right? Because like you pick, right? You're like, oh, if I want this person, I choose this person to be around me. You know, that's you saying like, that's a reflection of me. They are going to act as a reflection of me. So the people that you surround yourself with, they're so important because they're the people who you're going to be talking to all the time. If you get big, they're going to be touring with you all the time. You're going to be basically living with them. Your manager, it's like a marriage. You know, like you have to get along. You have to, like you can fight you can like have all of these disagreements, but you have to like have mutual respect and admiration for one another. Like, and it's the same with booking agents. Like if you get a booking agent, they got to really love what you're doing. Your label's got to really love what you're doing. Surround yourself with people who are cheerleaders, but also are going to tell you if they think something should be done differently and argue with you and say like, and challenge you, right? Like if you just have a bunch of yes men around you or yes people around you, you won't grow. But if you have people who are like, that's great, you can do better. Then, you know, like I think that is so important.
It is.
Like literally one of the most important things, because somebody's going to tell you if your production sucks. Someone's going to tell you if your visuals suck. Someone's going to tell you and like light up for you where you need to enhance yourself. And then you can add on team members, or it's like, oh, we're just like our visions don't align anymore. And then you can have another person be there for you for that or whatever. And I think also surrounding yourself with people, you should have, I think, mutual respect and adoration, like 100% with whoever you're around. I think it's one of the most important things.
Who are some of the people on your team right now?
Yeah. So my manager is Jeff Nedza. Mm-hmm. He also works at my label, Known Accomplice, and Known Accomplice is great. The whole team that works there, they're super awesome. I am releasing my first EP with them this month, and I signed with them in October, and I'm working on another one right now. Just finished up the recording, and they're like, okay, when's the album coming? And I'm like, this is stressful, but they really want that. You know what I mean? Like they're pushing me. They're like, more, you know?
Yeah.
And that can be stressful, but it's also like,
it's accountability.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's good.
It's people showing me what I can do because they know that I can do it because I've shown them I can do it. So it's like reminding me, like, you can do that. You can go faster. You can do more. You can do all these things. You can do all of these things. And then it's like, yeah, but it's hard. I don't want to. It's like, too bad.
It's like having a great coach.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like being on a sports team.
It really
and having
is.
A great coach.
And that's the thing. That's why it's like your team members can either do the opposite for you, where they drag you down or they make you feel bad, or they don't like align with you. Like you could have just like completely different perspectives on everything, and they could be fighting you every step of the way.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
And that's a nightmare. Or you can have people who you generally agree with, big picture, and then they respect your vision on multiple things and you respect their vision on multiple things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then,
You're never going to agree with the person on everything.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, and that's good. Like, it's a good thing. Like if people aren't, you know, saying like, oh, what if you tried this instead? Or like, I think that you should do it this way. You know, like I can say you're wrong.
Like, I think if your goals, if everybody has a shared goal of the journey, like I was saying earlier about the end of the road, right? It's like, okay, well, here's where we want to be.
Yeah.
Right. How you get there, like you said, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be battles, whatever. Yeah. But you know what? As long as everybody's got that end of the road in sight and everybody's moving in the same direction, then everybody's going to get along on the tour bus.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's going to be a problem.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. Like that's why bands break up, you know? It's difficult, like it really is, because I find that musicians and artists and everyone that works in the industry or is part of the industry is so passionate. Because why would you choose this if you didn't absolutely love it or you didn't have to?
Because we like trying the hardest thing in life.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you know, I like to say like if I did anything else, I might be more comfortable, might be happier, but I definitely wouldn't have a better life. Just in terms of like have as much passion and love and like
soul fulfillment.
Exactly. It's like, you know, I could have gone and gotten a degree and gotten a job and, you know, followed that path. And yeah, I probably would have less stress. I would probably be less stressed. Or be put in stressful situations less, or, you know, like find myself there. And, you know, like there's something to be said for that. But then it's also like, yeah, it's really hard, and that's why you have to love it. And you know, so I feel like it's really important. And my band is great. My band is Caleb Bourgeois on guitar and Tyler Shea on drums and Dylan Barrett on bass. And they're all incredible people. Really nice to hang out with. Incredible musicians.
Jared, can you pull up the photo of the band?
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. They're great.
Magic.
And yeah, they tell me shit like it is too, you know, but also mutual respect and adoration. So it's like, it takes a long time to find those people. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years and I've worked with a lot of people, and it's just really nice to feel good about the people you surround yourself with. And it's just like, you are a reflection of your environment. Like, your environment can either drain you or it can energize you. And like, if you want to be psychological about it, like 70% of people who are depressed is situational depression because of their environment.
Yeah.
So it's like, it really, not just in music, but in life, like, I don't mean to sound preachy, but it really does. Like, it's a huge thing, and I think it's super interesting, you know?
Yeah. It's an energy thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're all made of energy, right? So it's an energy thing. I feel like if these people share the same energy as you, and you know, then it amplifies you, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not at the same level as you energetically, and their energy level is below you, then they're just stealing your good energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Or
what I
if
mean?
it's just on a different path and your alignment is off.
Yeah.
That affects your energy too. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, I can have a lot of respect for your ideas. I just don't think it's good for me. You know what I mean? It's just like relationships. It really is. It's like literally like romantic relationships, like any kind of relationship. You know, it's like you can go on a date with someone and say like, I really respect you and I admire you and I think you're really great and you're cool and maybe you're cute, but I just don't feel like our values align, or I don't feel like our perspectives align. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's the same thing for just whoever you surround yourself with. And since this job is like, if you're going to be in a van with these people for months, or a bus, or whatever you want to call it, like you're basically living with them. Like, it really, you know? So you gotta have a lot of respect for those people. So.
Oh yeah, let's go through the rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an EP photo, right?
Yes, it is. It's the cover of Meant to Break.
It's awesome.
Thanks. That's the angst. There you go.
There you go. Where was that?
That was Festu Fall. That was opening up for the Beaches and JJ Wild.
Oh, cool.
And Soft Cult was on that bill too. They're awesome. Yeah, and there's me signing my label contract with Jeff and Ian.
And that was about a year ago, right?
That was in October.
Oh, it was October. Oh, so it was recent.
Really recent.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's
that was
fast
like,
paced.
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 weeks before I met you.
Yeah. It was that same time. I mean, we've been talking for quite a while, but like actually signing it, that was in October. So yeah, I mean, just great people. And
I think Known Accomplice, there's a bunch of bands on that label.
Oh yeah.
Texas King's on that label.
Texas King's on that label. Bleeker's on that label.
Bleeker, yeah.
Just so many people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for them. That's
Sam
amazing.
Roberts band, I think, is on that label.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What, so that deal, how did that deal change things for you? Like, because that obviously would have changed.
It
things.
did. It did.
And it's fresh. Like October's not that long ago.
Yeah.
So how already has life sort of the journey changed?
I mean, yeah, like it was a crazy transition period from, I'm a very stubborn person and I'm very opinionated and I like to have things done my way. that's why I'm a solo artist. There's something to be said for that. But it was hard to give up control or give up the reins, I would say, and delegate and learn to trust my team that they know what's best for me, and like they can take care of things and they can amplify things that I don't have the ability to do. Like I have strengths, but not all of them.
Yeah.
I have
Well, it's good that
weaknesses.
you recognize that.
Yeah,
though,
so
and that you're okay with it. Yep. Gotta be. I have to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a learning curve.
I get it.
It's like logically, yes, I'm very happy about it. I love it. I love delegating. I think it affords me to be able to do the things that I do like doing way more, and also have more opportunities to do the things that I like doing.
Yeah. Right.
So, like once you recognize that, it's like, okay, I guess.
As long as you find somebody that's got your back.
That's the thing.
As long as that's the case, then I think you're good.
Yes.
Right? Like I think that there's, like you said, there's all this negative stigma out there and jadedness. Like, I've worked with people here who have had record deals that went bad.
Oh, yeah.
So there's all kinds of, potential negativity and jadedness from those situations that, if you were to talk to those people about record deals, it's like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. No, stay independent. But then at the same time, there's other bands from here in town that are super incredible, super talented. I will definitely not name their names, but because they don't have the resources, they haven't gone global, and
Right.
they could, absolutely they could.
That's the thing. So many people have the possibility of doing that, or like the chops to do that, the skills to do that. But it really is, it's like, there's just so much nuance. And it's about like, I like kind of how I go through different phases of perspective on like what's the most important thing, or like what separates people who are like extremely successful in music versus people who are less successful, or just never made it global, or things like that. A lot of that is obviously nepotism, and but there's also like, I think one of the things is trust your intuition and like develop a strong intuition by, obviously I had strong mentors around me, but I also had people who were bad influences around me. So it's also like, like pick and choose. It's like you could be influenced by the bad influences, or you can take the wisdom of the good people around you, right? And it's like, trust your intuition. Do you have good intuition? Like, if you feel strongly about something and you're like, this is how it has to be, make it happen. Like, go to the extreme with trusting your intuition.
Yeah.
That you literally are probably saying, I'm faking it, I have no idea what I'm doing, but your intuition is still telling you to do all of these things. So you do know what you're doing, even if nobody knows what they're doing. I feel like that's another thing. It's like, nobody really knows. I talked to a A&R person from a label that I was introduced to, and they have a great roster of bands that I super admire. And we were just having coffee, and I was like, so how did you get this person like off the ground? And they were like, I have no idea.
Nice.
I have no idea how that happened. It's just like,
Okay.
that kind of made me realize like, oh, like it's not like these people have like this deep-seated knowledge that people don't have. It's like, no, like you hear something, you trust your ear, or you trust like word of mouth, or you trust what you see, or you trust like if you have good intuition and you really trust it. Like if you're an A&R and you're like, oh, this band is really cool. Like I don't know exactly what to do with them, but I want to sign them. And then you sign them. That's trusting your intuition. That's like extremely, that's all that is.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, this part of them is going to be extremely successful and let's market it this way and this way and this way. And you can implement that after. But the initial things, like do you think this person's going to be big? Yes or no? You know what I mean? That's in terms of like A&R or like label stuff. And so like in music, it's like you have to have intuition for songwriting. Like, is this song good? Or like, are these people good people? Or like, is this like, are these visuals good? Like, what do I want the brand to be? What do I want to say? What is my whole thing? And like, how much do I want to put up myself out there? What crazy thing do I want to do next? Because you have to do crazy things, right? So it's like, you do, you know, like the whole thing is crazy.
Yep.
So you got to do crazy things. That's, you know, safe. Be safe.
That's the persona you slide into.
Exactly.
Right?
Because like literally the whole thing is crazy.
Yep. Oh,
you know?
I know.
You know?
And there's some people that actually lose themselves in it.
Yeah.
And like
that's
become
the
crazy.
thing is like, you gotta like play it like a game, not like a life thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like do crazy things that are fun and feel like, you know, like this is gonna help me in this way, or this is gonna like do this for me in this way. Not crazy things like literally putting yourself in danger, but like, or like being around weird people, but like do crazy things like follow your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Literally.
Which lots of people like talk about and think about, and I'll do it one day.
Yeah.
And never do.
And that's why it's so crazy. Is like literally is like, you know, you date someone, you meet someone's parents, you know, and you're like, what do you do? I'm in a band.
Nice.
That's not good.
Yeah, I get it.
You know? Like you know, when I was younger, I would just basically date guys in bands, and my grandparents always be like, no, they're probably crazy. They're in music. They're probably crazy. I'm like, guys, I'm in music. And they're like, you're different. You got a good head on your shoulders. I'm like,
they can
okay.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you know? Like, that's the thing is you got to have a good head on your shoulders, but you got to be crazy. And that's what I mean by intuition. It's like knowing how to navigate the crazy, the craziness and the crazy world that we're in, and especially in the industry, and like how to stand out. So I just think that stuff is really cool. But yeah, like being exposed to and being. I also like 3 years ago was like, I'm never gonna sign to a label. Like they just like they're like banks that like steal from you and then they shelve you and then you never get any money and you never go anywhere.
Sounds like you talked to somebody who was jaded.
I've talked to a lot of people who are jaded. A lot of people are jaded. Oh yeah.
And they're not wrong.
No.
Like that's a real thing.
Those are real things.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. But it's also like, okay.
Don't be naive, you know?
Don't be naive, but also don't be jaded. Like you can go through these experiences and you can have these experiences and you can learn from them without it taking away your spark.
Sure.
You know?
Well, just find good people.
Exactly.
Like they do exist.
They do exist.
I mean, they're rare, but they do exist.
They do exist. That's the thing is like when I was younger, I also was like, oh, like maybe like good people don't exist, you know, like all the angst and like all that stuff. You're a teenager. But there's a lot of truth to it. It's like it's really hard to find in certain spaces. But the thing is they really do exist. Like it's not a myth, you know, like there's a reason that people are able to do music and be happy. There are a lot of cases like that where bands are like living really good lives and their label is great and their manager's great and they get to go on tour.
Yep.
And like that is a reality for a lot of people. And so it's not like it doesn't happen. It's not like it's a dream that just is not real. It's hard, but it's real and you can carve out a space for yourself and make that happen, but you have to be crazy enough to do that. So you know, but yeah, like being signed to a label and having their input, and it feels very validating. Because I'm like, oh, these people believe in me. You know, these people believe in me enough to put money into it and enough to put stakes in it, right? Yeah. My parents did the same thing. You know, they put stakes in it But it's nice when it's not just your parents saying like you're so good. Obviously not just my parents say I'm so good, but like actually really placing bets.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's a very validating thing. And that's like it's all about how you look at it, right? Like you could say like, okay, label deal, on to the next thing. Or like, you know, I hope it goes okay. Or like blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, you could have, obviously you're going to have that because everybody has those thoughts, but it's about what you choose to focus on, right? It's like for me, like, I'm just like, wow, like somebody chose to place a bet on me and to like really, like they really think that something's going to happen here. And they've done all of these other things that are really cool.
Yeah.
And like, these are the other bands on the roster that are doing really cool things. And it's like, oh, like now I'm in that space now with those people.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I think, yeah, like you kind of realize there's not as much separation as you think between people who are signed to a label and people who aren't. Because I feel like people think like, oh, you know, if you're signed to a label, that means you're big. No, I mean, it could mean that. It's just another way of, it's another set of people on your team. It's another resource. It's another, step in a direction that puts you in rooms with people who are bigger or puts you in the same list. You know what I mean?
You still need to be good at your craft.
Exactly.
Like,
that's
you still need to be talented.
That's above everything.
You still need to be talented.
Yeah,
because it's the talent that they find. Right?
Exactly.
They're like, oh, that person can make it. That person has it. The it is talent. Like it's the whole package, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, there has to be talent there. And and if they're not talented, then you know, then it's not going to last.
Yeah, I think that's tough. You know, it's like if you think about sports, you know, competitive sports. You know, somebody's like, you know, if you really love basketball, but you're short, you're not going to make it to the big leagues. You know, you're not going to like be an NBA all-star probably. Yeah. I mean, unless you're like a freak of nature and incredibly good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like that there's so many different industries and career paths where it really is cutthroat. And like my mom went to University of Waterloo for engineering, and like that's one of the hardest programs like for engineering in general, and then also in the country and North America. And she'd tell me like, yeah, like they literally accept a lot more people than they can handle first year because they know that a lot of them are going to drop.
Yep.
Because they can't keep up, and that's just with everything. It's like if you are going to shoot for something that is difficult and really hard, you have to have not only the smarts, but the willpower to follow through.
It's the same, like there's a program here in London at Fanshawe called Music Industry Arts, and they get about 3,000 plus applicants every year for, you know, 120 positions, I think, roughly. And between the first year and the second year, there's like a massive drop between the first and second year because people don't make it. Yeah. And that's the same. So that's to what you're saying. It's the same thing. And that's in this industry specifically.
Exactly.
And that can absolutely happen.
Yeah.
So let's talk about now. So do you have another project coming up that you're working on?
I do. I have an EP that's coming out this month, but I just finished up in the studio with Taylor Perkins and Chris Demas of Bleecker. Okay. Also signed to Known Accomplice. Nice. So that's a big way how being signed to the label changed what I do. Is it opened that door, which I'm really grateful for. We also have the same manager. They're incredible at writing, incredible musicians. Like Chris is, I think, probably one of the best mixers in the country. Incredible guy, really good producer, like one of the best drummers in the country. Taylor, one of the best writers I've ever worked with ever, incredible singer, has a crazy good ear. He doesn't even listen to modern music, yet he can write a killer active rock song.
That's awesome.
You know, like he listens to like the Beatles and like I love the Beatles, but it's just very different. You know what I mean? It's it takes a lot of talent and a really good ear to be able to write in a genre that you don't listen to or you've never listened to ever. And write something incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I'm so grateful for that door being open and they're co-producing my next EP after this one. And I just can't wait. I just feel like that's another thing is like your team is like they can level you up before you level up yourself. Like they can expose you to like so much stuff where you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. I wouldn't have been able to think of this without you. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you. And it takes a lot of like to sit back with your ego for a second or like make your ego sit back to be like, I wouldn't have been able to write this song without this person that was exposed to me because of my team. And that's like, if you think about all of the big pop hits, all of the successful songs, like those were mostly co-written or at least like I know people where they're like, oh yeah, like a concept of a song, like, I wrote it myself, but somebody inspired me to do it through like saying this one thing. And then I was in the studio all night and I came out with a song and it did really well. Yep. And it's like, you know what I mean? And it's like, you just gotta like, feel like it's not me. You know what I mean? Like it can be partly me and it's partly me, but it's not all me. And I wouldn't have been able to do this exact thing in this exact way without this other person or without these other people, without these influences. So there's just, I feel like it was immediately when I was recording with them, it was like synergy. Most of the songs are co-written with them. I think 5 out of the 6 I wrote with them. Because they're just incredible. Like they write with so many other people too.
Well, that's amazing. Incredible. That's
awesome. So I just have nothing but good things to say. You know, it's kind of boring, but like, you know, I wish I could, you know.
I mean, obviously we're going to hear more later on. Do you think that rock should have a bigger voice today than what it does?
Absolutely.
And why? What's your take on that?
I feel like it's everything. I feel like rock is everything. Like in terms of influences, you got your pop choruses, you got your grungy guitar lines sometimes, you know, like it's just, I feel like rock is like the combination and like it's just pulling parts out of everything else and creating something, which is why I feel like people think of rock and they think of it of like 80s hair metal. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I feel like when I first started telling people, and like when I started singing rock music when I was 10, 11, 12, like I'm 22. That era is like the target market right now, and younger and a little bit older, but like my age and the people that I grew up with, that's like what people are trying to market to right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because when I was growing up and saying like, oh, I'm singing this rock song, and they'd be like, oh, are you just screaming all the time? You're just screaming into a microphone.
Nice.
So I feel like it's a really just a misconception of what rock actually is. Like I also know a bunch of people, like some of my friends or my friends' friends or my cousins' friends or my cousins or like my siblings' friends who they never listened to rock before, but then they listened to my songs and they're like, this is really good. Is this what rock is? People just don't know.
They're that disconnected, eh? That's crazy.
Like they just don't know what rock really means anymore. Like,
yeah.
And it's obviously I think it's because rock is so overwhelmingly everything. Like, you know, you got your soft rock that like
yacht rock.
Yeah, you got yeah, surf rock, reggae rock, you got hard rock, you got like classic rock, you got like Bon Jovi style rock, you got like all these different avenues, right? Or like rock bands that are like influenced more by like Limp Bizkit, or like rock bands who are, you know, like just so many different different avenues that you can go down because rock is so much of everything. That's why it's so overwhelming. And so people just have this misconception that rock is like one thing, and they don't like look at the full picture of rock.
Yeah, they don't expose themselves to all of it.
They don't. And so it's really interesting for me when I will like play my songs for like some of my friends who don't listen to rock, and they're like, this is so good. And I'm like, you need to listen to rock.
Yeah, I've done this. I've done this when I was younger with some of the people who were in their 20s, and they were like, I want to be a singer. And I'm like, well, have you heard this person? No, who's that? Have you heard of this person? No, who's that? Yeah. So I started sending them YouTube videos. Here, watch this live performance. Yeah. Watch this live performance. Yeah. And they're like, oh, wow. Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
I know.
And it's like, yeah, man. Like, just open yourself up to it. Yeah, I know this stuff is older. These artists are older.
Or they're just not as popular, or they're not on the radio. Yeah. Or, you know what I mean? like most of the bands I listen to, I can go see them for $50. Yeah. And they're like I love these bands. I'm like, why are there only like 500 people here at a Toronto show headlining? Like one of my favorite bands is headlining. It's just like 500. It's not like it's a big venue and only 500 people show up, but it's like it's a 500 cap venue sold out. But it's like, why is that it? And I think rock is like, and then the effects of that, of like not being able to tour properly because not as many people listen to rock, means that bands don't have the funds to get like a really, really good producer. They don't have the funds to market properly. They don't have the funds to keep going and keep touring because it's so costly. And it's really hard to market on things like TikTok, Instagram, social media platforms where everyone's following hype. Because like, yes, there have been rock bands that have gotten bigger because of social media. It's really rare. It's really rare and usually involves a lot of strategy and not just playing your song over and over again.
Yes.
So it's like, it's not the music that's going to hook people in. It's going to be the stuff surrounding the music that's going to hook people in. And that's really difficult for a lot of rock musicians. It's difficult for me. Like, it's really hard to, because people will be like, you know, maybe this viral video of a song will blow up because it's a beautiful melody or it's really pretty or really nice to listen to, right? And they're like, wow, like your voice sounds so incredible. You know, that happens, and that's easier to latch onto. A whole song, like, you know, I didn't used to like my voice. I now can listen to it. I think every singer, you know, they're like, is that what my voice, you know, like when you listen to your voicemail, you're like, ugh, that's what my voice sounds like.
Hey, even when I started doing this show, when I started doing this show, I couldn't listen to the first couple episodes back when I first started because I didn't, you know, it's weird hearing the sound of your voice. But now it's fine. Now I'm okay.
Your voice in your head, there's more reverb.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
It's distorted in your head, and like how I'm talking right now, I know it's not the same as how it's coming out. So I hated that when I first started like singing. I was like, oh, it sounds so bad, you know, like, because I know what I sound like in my own head, and I was like, it's just so different. But like in rock, a lot of the times, like your voice gets, like nuances of your voice can get buried.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it maybe doesn't sound as pretty, or like maybe I can't like hit the same notes as Ariana Grande. Like I can't sing that high. You know, it's like, what do people look for? Like, they look for things that are, like, going to hook you in, like, immediately. Like, whoa, that high note is crazy. I'm an alto. I can hit whistle notes, but why would I do that in rock music? You know what I mean? It's like, it's difficult. It's because rock music is, like, what everybody who doesn't want to do pop and, like, catchy stuff and, you know, ear candy, like in terms of like that kind of pop production or that kind of pop atmosphere or like hip hop, you know, like, or, you know, like things that are really popping off, like things that are popular. And like grunge was never popular in the 90s. Now it's popular, but you were a loser if you listened to it back then. like you were made fun of. Like rock is so different because it's like you don't want to be like as marketing and like focusing on catchy melodies and ear candy. You can obviously do that, but not to the same extent as a pop artist. And you're not like as like, I don't know. It's just like it's like a middle ground for a lot of things where you can take all of these influences and things you like from all these different genres and implement it in rock, but it means that it doesn't like inherently stand out. I think
there's something to be said too about the storytelling aspect of it, right? Because you in country and rock, you know, generally speaking, you're still able to do the singer-songwriter thing and tell a story, which comes usually from life experience. And that's different, right? Because a lot of the pop stuff, the really poppy stuff, especially the stuff that trends on things like TikTok and that, a lot of it's very melody based. It's very like hook based. It has to be catchy. It has to be quick because you know attention span on there is like less than 0. And so you know so you're creating something for a different reason, right? Whereas I feel like with the amount of live music that you were exposed to, and that people in your situation are exposed to, the more connected you feel you are to the live element, and then you combine that with your stories and how much you want to open up about yourself, and when you put those two together, I just don't think it works in certain genres outside of rock.
No, it doesn't.
In country, it just doesn't. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, like the interesting thing though is, I think that there's going to be a shift, and I think AI is capable of replacing a lot of pop stuff because it's all like algorithmic.
Yes.
If you think about it, like melodies like literally are designed. If you hit this note here, if you hit this note here, it will make a person feel a certain way. It will evoke some sort of sensation in a listener. That's all algorithmic. And there's so much like out there that's been done that like can be, I think it's, I love pop melodies as well. I love listening to pop. I think it's really interesting to me. But I think that people don't care about the artist as much. I mean, like you've got exceptions like Taylor Swift and like Chaperone and Sabrina Carpenter and like the big pop girls and everything. Like they care about them as a person. Like they've got like a cult fan base. I think that's really cool. But for general stuff, they don't really care. Most, if you think about pop, take Taylor Swift, for example. Like probably the biggest person in the industry right now, right?
Yep.
Pop music. Insanely like loyal fan base. But not all of them, the majority of her listeners just listen to Shake It Off from time to time. They don't really they don't care if she puts out a new album. They're not going to listen to it. She can do what she can do because she has a lot of loyal fan base. But I think that people listen to pop for a different reason than they listen to rock. I think people listen to like just like more mainstream music for a different reason than they listen to emo music or metal that is like more hardcore and not like popularized like metal. You know what I mean?
You think it's emotion based?
I think it's about what you're trying to get out of it. I think if you're trying to connect with a person and their story and what they have to say, you're going to listen to more rock. You're going to listen to more, like rock and country, probably. But honestly, I think mostly rock. Like, I think people who listen to rock really do it for a connection rather than to listen to something that's going to make their ears happy.
I think you're right. And I think there's a lot of crossover, right? So you have all these crossover songs or crossover albums or collaborations that have happened, let's say in the last like 10, 15 years between like dance and country, rock and country, you know, hip hop and country, rock and hip hop. Like,
My favorite is like trap artists or like hip hop and metal. I love that. Like
Yeah.
there are a lot of rap artists who are like collaborating with metal band and screaming or just screaming in their own songs now. Like there is a shift. Like I feel like people are listening to more metal is having more of a moment than rock is. I'll say that.
I would agree with that.
Like
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
that's definitely happening.
Jeremy's okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I love metal too. Like, it's so fun. It's mostly what I listen to actually, and rock. But yeah, it's different. I think in terms of what AI can replicate and what the psychology is behind listeners of different genres, I think rock will actually have more of a moment soon. Because people are going to be looking for that realness. They're going to be looking for that connection. They're going to be looking for
Authenticity.
a real person.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and not like a cultivated brand. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I love a cultivated brand in pop music or in whatever kind of music. I think it's really fun. I think it's really sick. I think it has its place. I think, like that's awesome. I just think there's different reasons that people listen to different things.
As much as AI could hurt certain things in music, I think it's going to create a more obvious connection for people to find authenticity.
Exactly.
And people will demand authenticity from the live performance and the live artist more, which is good because it will push for a higher quality talent, a higher quality performance, a higher quality everything, and that's fine. That's great. And I'm sure most of the people who are live performers will be like, yeah, no problem, let's go.
Yeah.
If they've already gotten to where they have and they've made it and they've made it that far, they're going to keep going. So I think that AI can be a tool in a toolbox for some people if they want to make a song that's hot today, but gone in 3 months from now, and it's just canned content and it's recycled and it's and there's a place for that. Like there's a place for all all forms of music, but I think that I actually think that we'll see a time where people will start to find like the Beatles and find all these various
everything comes
styles
in waves.
again because they will be looking for it because they will see, they'll just be inundated with through social media mostly, but they'll be inundated with all this canned content that the other stuff will stand out dramatically.
Exactly. And I have a lot of people like I hear a lot of people and I have conversations with people about like, oh, like AI is going to destroy the music industry or it's going to destroy and it's going to do this. I think there will, like, obviously I'm not like super up to date with everything new, but I do love thinking about human psychology and there's always something new. Like there's always auto-tune and like, okay, like if you think about it, like if I was a singer before auto-tune came out and then auto-tune happened, and I wasn't super confident in my singing abilities, I'd be like, now I can't do anything because everyone's going to sound better than me because of auto-tune. It's like, okay, but if you practice and you get better and you're like, okay, no, now I can compete with these people that are using auto-tune. And that's what happens, right? Like, that's what has happened. Like the standard for vocals, like in terms of technique, went way up live. Like, yeah, anyone can make music from their bedroom and it makes it really accessible. I think that's great. Like all those, like any kind of effects, any kind of like modulations, anything like that. I think it's a really, really awesome tool for people to get out their ideas and create something. But if you think about live performance, it's like, okay, now there's a way higher standard for live performance.
Especially for non-pop songs. Like,
exactly.
I think there's a lot of pop artists that can get away with singing to tracks.
Oh, yeah.
and
Of
singing
course.
over their own vocal.
And with autotune. And
Yeah.
look at Charlie XCX. Like, I love looking at this example because she's so awesome the way that she uses autotune as a stylistic thing and not a mask. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a tool. But the thing is, like, that tool weeds out people and makes people who are not confident in their own abilities, and makes it be like, oh, like, I shouldn't pursue this because somebody else might be able to do it better than me because of this new technology.
Yeah, but never stop trying to get better.
Exactly.
I listened to some of the artists from before autotune, so like Lionel Richie and the Commodores, Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, like these. Like if you listen to like what they did with not just. I mean, there's a live video out there of Celine performing with the Bee Gees, 1997, I believe it was, and it's phenomenal. Like it's just mind blowing, and you know, and that's. I mean, at that point, she'd been out for a while, obviously, and she'd perfected her craft. But I do think that there's a place to use AI, autotune, you know, Pro Tools. There's all kinds of things that you can use as a tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
But you have to, you know, you have to get in the game, use the tools, like you're saying, use the tools, get in the game, and then push yourself and perfect your sound and your talent as you go.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what Kitty did.
Exactly. I think, like, for me, like, I think about it and I'm like, yeah, okay, so AI has been actually around for a long time. Like, you know, it's been a thing. Like, AI has showed up in other forms of technology, like autotune. Like, that's, like, there is AI there. The generative AI, like, I think if you use it to create something for you, then that's like selling your soul a little bit, right? And I think that's when it gets into the aspect of, like, why are you doing that? Is that because you don't think that you yourself can come up with something good enough to compete with that? And then it's like, okay, well, why do you feel like you're not good enough when you're like, oh, well, everyone's going to be able to make really good songs now? Okay, cool. Yours can also stand out if they're better, though, or if there's something else to them.
Yeah.
Or, like, it cannot make your ideas happen for you.
Yeah.
It does not have the ability to come up with your ideas. It doesn't. So if you don't think that your ideas are good enough to compete with AI, then that's like okay, you need to get better. You know what I mean? And that's like with love. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like if you're worried about new technology, that's why I talked about autotune. If you're worried about new technology making it so that you can't do something anymore, obviously it's different in non-creative spaces, but if you're thinking about creative spaces, you know, that's completely different. I think if you can have your ideas and you can make them really good, I think there's going to be more saturation. I think it's going to be even harder to be heard, but it's always going to be hard to be heard. And it's like, yeah, there's going to be different things that make things harder. But I also think that people are going to start to really appreciate real music made by real people and like real truth and honesty and raw footage and not cultivated or overly edited, overly processed stuff anymore, which is great for rock. So, you know, like I think I feel not too worried about that for rock. I feel a little bit worried about that.
Well, I'm looking forward to the resurgence of rock.
That's what I think is going to happen. Like, I don't think it's going to happen right away. Like, I think it's going to be a while, but I think that like there's always resistance to, as you get too much of something, you automatically want to resist. So if you get too much of like the AI, like, oh, it sounds good, I don't care if it's AI, eventually you're going to be like, no, like, I think I do care. I think I want to hear that from a person.
Yeah, everything goes in waves.
You know? Yeah. So it's like, I think that the reason people listen to rock is for connection and for the realness and the honesty and a couple other genres as well. And I think that kind of, I think that rock will have its moment because it hasn't been having its moment.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
It's been a transition, right? You're a solo artist, so it's a little different for you, but there's a lot of bands that came out of the 80s and 90s, and it was hard because when then the industry blew up in the 90s and the funding model changed, it was a lot harder to sign and tour bands, right? A lot easier to sign and tour solo artists.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's been a correction there, and I think the industry's been finding itself, but it's coming. It's coming along. What would you say your genre is?
I would say I'm like hard rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, alternative hard rock. And then sometimes it's mainstream hard rock. Like I'm still trying to find it, and I think that everybody shifts and evolves. But I think like, at the root of all my songs is like, there's like, it's hard rock, I think.
How has music sort of changed your life over time? And do you find that music is sort of a part of it, like a healing for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything for me. It's healing and it's ailment. Like it's everything. Like I know that I would not be even close to the same person I am if I wasn't exposed to like live music and performing and like the industry and like doing that as my thing at the ripe age of 10. You know what I mean? Like I would have had a completely different life, completely different outlook. I used to be like the girl in class, and I still love this version of me, and I still am, but like the girl in class would like ask for more homework. And, like, the whole class would be like, ugh. And I would like always I would always love to hand in my test first, and like I had glasses, braces, like very boyish look. Like I was bullied, like I was very like, my value I placed on like how well I did in academics and how smart I was and how nice I was. And that's still a thing. But I think that if I hadn't had that knocked out of me like forcibly, I think I would have continued on that path of I was always gonna be an ambitious and driven person to the point of probably self-negligence, but like, it is what it is. I could have done that in a different way and had a completely different life. And the fact that I do it in music means that I have so many other facets to myself now that I would not have developed. Like a different worldview, you hear enough stories about things that people have been through, because there are a lot of really hurt people in the music industry. And like, it's the whole thing where it's like, where do you think the soul comes from? Where do you think the hurt comes from? That's why everyone's like, you got to pay your dues. You got to go through hard shit to learn, like, and to be able to succeed and to have that heart that people can hear that in you. And people said that like to me since I was 10. Like my mother got into an accident when I was 10, and it was like a very traumatic thing and very traumatic period. And so literally at 10, that's why she forgot to do the summer camp things, because she had a brain injury. She still has a brain injury, still deals with the effects. And it was a very big shift on our family. And that changed me. And I think that like it changed me. And the fact that I went into music was like, oh, like, people would tell me like right when I started, like, I can hear the pain in your voice. Like I can feel that. And that's why I think people, when I first started out, was like, you have it. You have what it takes. You have the thing. I don't know what it is, but you have it. And I think that really is like, it's like some sort of really strong emotion. And like a lot of that is rooted in pain. You can obviously be really like good in music, and there's something else about you that makes you stick out, right? And it's like, that's it. But a lot of people in music have been through painful experience. Obviously, I don't have to tell you that, but like you hear enough of that, you become exposed to enough of that by befriending these people and by being around these people and like going through shit yourself. and that like you develop a different worldview. And like I literally love music so much. Like it's more than just a healing thing for me. It's what gets me out of bed. It's what like what do I do in my spare time? I listen to music. Okay. What do I do in the shower? Oh, I sing in the shower. Okay. Well, like, what do I do with my friends? What I love doing with my friends, going to concerts and singing in the car. Okay. Like what, like, you know what I mean? It's like, what do I talk about the most? It's about, I love psychology as one of my favorite things. I love music psychology, like talking about how people perceive music and what makes a song so good and what makes this person stick out more than this person. What aspect of them sticks out? What makes that? You know, how can I implement that in my own thing? How can I, you know, navigate this in a way that makes sense for me? After hearing stories of people who've navigated it in their own way, what can I take from their experiences and implement it into mine? And it's like, it's a whole lifestyle. It really is. It's a whole, like, it changes your brain, like to literally like look for certain things or to find value in different things or to like, you know what I mean? And so to me, like music isn't just like a part of life. I would not be the same person even close. Like I would probably still be like, I would probably still love who I was, but it would be very different.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that I am the person that I am. You know, it's afforded me to like connect with so many people that I love and to have so many experiences that I love. And it's just like leveled up my life in so many ways. Like I think about my personal relationships and a lot of them are deeper when we can connect about music.
Absolutely.
You know? So it's like, to me, it's not just like, oh, like I write a song and I feel incredible about it and I feel like I've gotten something off my chest and I cry and I'm like, oh wow, like this makes me feel something. There's that. There's like the power in that and creating something that didn't exist before you made it.
Yeah.
Like there's so much like that's incredible feeling. Playing in front of people and then seeing them sing that back to you, like that's even better, you know? Like to me, like that's my therapy is like, you know, I write about my experiences and what I've been through, like, or like negative views on things. And like, then seeing people connect with that, I'm like, you know, I hate that people connect with it because it's negative things, but it's like, no, like negative things are just a part of life. Like it's just a part. And when you can find connection through that, and when you can make that, like, I don't know, when you can make that into something beautiful, then that's like, that is healing for me. But then there's so many more aspects, like, you know, about just connection and like literally just how my brain is, you know?
Music can save people too. Mm-hmm. You know, you probably don't even realize, but there could be people that even as already at 22, there could be people that have listened to some of your music and it helped save them.
I have gotten a couple of messages like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's incredibly wild to me to think about that. I always wanted to help people, which is why I wanted to go into neuropsychology. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted to figure out how to stop Alzheimer's or like figure out how to like cure really random brain diseases and or like maybe therapize or like I always just like wanted to help people. And being able to do that through music, the thing that I love, the thing that helps me, the thing that makes me happy, also makes me really stressed.
Balance.
You can't love every part of it. You really can't. You don't get that lucky. But
Yin and yang.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if I loved everything about it, that I would be too lucky. There's no way.
No, that's not the way the universe works.
That's not that doesn't happen. No. Something else would have to suffer.
To every action, there's a reaction.
Exactly. So, and I'm like, if I loved every part of it, I wouldn't have anything to write about because I write about that too. I write about the industry and I write about like everything, you know? So it's like, it really is like, it's just so much more than that to me. So yeah, I mean, it's not literally everything to me. I have many other things that I enjoy, but that's like a lot of who I am is wrapped up in that because it's like, it just affects me so deeply, you know?
Well, thank you for putting all that
Yeah.
stuff out there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, drag and cliffhanger, lyrics or melody first?
For cliffhanger, lyrics. For Drag Me, I wrote that alone over the course of like 8 months because I was just like, I would pick it up every few months. That one was melody.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very different. Like it's not always the same. Cliffhanger, when we wrote it, literally we're like, what's a cool title? You know? And then the one writer was Miles. He's great. He was like, I have this like idea of like cliffhanger. Like I was like, ooh, like that's really cool. And we were all like, that's really cool. And then we were like, okay, well, how can we implement that? And then like, how does that relate to what I'm going through right now?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, I hate making it about me. I love making it about me. I hate making it about me. But it's like, you know, like I'm the artist. You know what I mean? It's like, it's in a lot of rooms, I'm like, oh yeah, like this can relate to my life like this. And I'm like, this is not how I am in like everyday conversation. I don't always just talk about myself. But if we're making music for me, you know, I'm going to talk about myself, but I feel weird. I'm like, I don't want you guys to think that I just care about myself. But yeah. And
That's the
like,
giving, caring part of you coming out.
That's exactly. It's like, yeah, I can recognize that. Vocals are divas. Vocalists are divas. Musicians in general are divas. I have a little bit of that in me, but I try my very best to not like come across like that because I don't feel like that I actually am like that. I think it's because people sing for a reason. I actually used to hate the spotlight, so I still sometimes hate it. I get nauseous on stage sometimes if there's too many people looking at me.
Just make the lights really bright.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like a lot of the time I'll just look above people, not actually at the people, because then I feel like, you know, anxious.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so many people looking at me, and I'm talking about like this difficult experience that I've been through, and everybody's looking at me. You know, maybe I shouldn't have been a singer, but I am.
So obviously a lot of what we talked about has brought this out, but so a lot of your songs are emotional and about struggle and things like that. How do you decide what to share and what not to share?
Really, whatever the song is asking for.
Yeah.
When I'm writing, I am at the mercy of the song. Whatever the song wants, I'll give it to it.
Wow.
I try to separate.
Open book.
Yeah, I try to separate my ego from, like, you know, songwriting, because I'm like, no, like I don't get to decide this. Like the song will decide this. So yeah, I basically talked about almost everything, not in exact words.
Yeah, like not in a literal sense, but like, yeah, formatively.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
maybe I'll use metaphors,
Yeah.
or maybe I'll bury it in something. But I am very much an open book. I used to shy away from like making songs about like, you know, like not love songs, but like relationship songs that are happy in a certain way. I used to like step away from that because I've always been like, I've always had people be like, you're just a kid, or like look at me like I'm a child. And then when I, you know, like move a certain way on stage or talk about certain things, they're like, you're a kid. Like you're too young to be doing that. I was put in a box, and then like now I've escaped that, and so now I talk about everything. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I was listening today when I was prepping for this. I was listening to the song that you released off the new EP. It sounds like, and this is a good thing. It sounds like that the music, the direction you're going is super dynamic, and in my opinion, it sounds even like more like '90s rock, which is awesome because I love that stuff.
That's one of my main influences is '90s rock, like Lane Staley, Kurt Cobain. Chris Cornell, like those are my top three. I think like it's just everything.
I could hear some like '90s Canadian rock even like definitely for sure.
Sick.
Like I grew up doing lights for all these bands and festivals throughout the '90s, and some of my favorite times doing lights because I did lights for hip hop and Celtic and all kinds of stuff. But definitely, and I've said this before in the show. One of my most favorite bands ever to do lights for was Big Wreck and Ian, both solo and in Big Wreck. And when I was listening to some of your newest stuff today, or newer stuff and newest stuff, I can hear some of that. Like I can hear the same kind of like
I am influenced by Big Wreck
for sure. I can hear it.
I love hearing that.
I was a different kind of lighting guy. Like I would play the lighting console. In fact, it's in repair downstairs right now because I'm thinking of coming back to doing lights again.
Sick.
But I would break the console. So I would literally rock out on the console like an instrument so hard that I would bust faders off the console.
That's crazy.
And so I'd have to stand. I couldn't sit. I'd have to stand and I'd be rocking out with the band the whole time. And so I really got into especially with rock, I would really get into the music and the feel and the energy. I'm big on energy, and I'd know, every word, every drum solo, every drop, everything. And I would have programs for it, and I would, if it came down, it was a moody thing. I would be like blue with white moving, and
you're the light person everyone wants.
Yeah, well, and maybe I should do more mentoring. But it was just fun, and it was fun because I got to share with the band in what was being delivered. I got to share in the performance. I got to share in the energy and the connection with the crowd. And the only other place I had experienced that, because I hadn't performed live on stage myself as a musician, was when I was DJing. And,
cool.
And that connection with, thousands of people or hundreds of people, didn't really matter, depending on the room size, was phenomenal. And I got to experience what live performers get to experience with that connection. And it's unmatchable.
Yeah, truly.
It really is. And so a part of me got to share in that when I was doing lights. I was out at front of house, of course, but it didn't matter. My goal was to rock out as hard as the band and to put 100% into every show. And I think that, it does make a difference. It is the difference as far as, what I was doing at the time for lights. It was made the difference between, like my dad says, being a guy that has lights, doing this, to actually being a show. And so, I can very much hear the influence, and I love it. I think, I do think it's going to have a resurgence. It already kind of is.
I feel like the energy's shifting, and I feel like
so it's great.
I feel like it's going to start like. I think it's going to be standout stuff that's going to be pushed. Like I don't think it as a genre is going to be big for a while, but I think the people are going to start like hyper fixating on certain songs and artists.
Start listening to 90s rock, people.
Yeah, literally. Literally. I mean, like 90s rock is back, which is crazy.
It's awesome.
Like Alice in Chains, like people are paying.
There's a tour coming up.
Yeah, like younger people are talking about Alice in Chains, which Alice in Chains wasn't even that like, like none of them were really that big back then. They were big, don't get me wrong, but they weren't like, you would talk to your grandparents like, oh, I'm going to go see Nirvana. And they'd be like, oh, who's that? Who's Nirvana? You know what I mean? Like back then, like I know people who grew up in that era or like were teenagers in that era and be like, you were picked on. Like if you listen to people like that, literally you were like, if you listened to Nirvana, you were like called gay. Like it was crazy. Like people did not care.
That's nuts.
And now if people like every teenage girl owns a Nirvana shirt. And I will say that as a person who was a teenage girl wearing a Nirvana shirt, you know, everybody owns that. And then like it would be to the point where like the guys would be like, oh, like, name 3 songs. Okay. But like also it's like, yeah, like people popularize things and like ride waves, and Nirvana is absolutely incredible, obviously, like huge influence.
I mean, you know who's laughing all the way to the bank now, so to speak, is Dave Grohl.
Oh my God.
Right? Who was the drummer of that band.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's like, oh, Foo Fighters is the best. It's like, yeah, but he was the drummer from Nirvana.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, people don't even know that.
Yes.
It's like, I remember when I found that out, and I think I was like 16. And I was like already doing music for 4 years, and I was like, Dave Grohl was the drummer for Nirvana.
And Foo Fighters is massive. I mean, speaking of that Super Bowl show that Prince did, he covered one of their songs.
Yeah.
In that performance.
That's crazy to think about, because I feel like Foo Fighters feels so much more current than Prince does. But like in terms of like just literally time, like in timeline.
Like,
you know what I mean?
And this is Prince. And if and I know people that have met and worked with Prince, and Prince had obviously a huge, you know, persona and ego and things about him. But like at the end of the day, you know, he did in that set at Super Bowl, in that one little, like in the very middle of it there, he literally went from from his song to Jimi Hendrix to Foo Fighters, right? And then back to his stuff again.
Insane.
All in a span of like, you know, 2 minutes or something.
Crazy.
of that performance. But it just shows you that, like, you know, that you know, someone like a Nirvana, where, you know, people are making fun of you for listening to it. It's like all of a sudden, you know, down the road, those people like Dave stick with it.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, like they're selling out Wembley Stadium.
Exactly.
As Foo Fighters.
I think,
right?
yeah, it's like, it's just another level of difficulty. Like the genre that you're in, or like, you know, there's so many different nuances in areas where the music industry is difficult. But then if you just kind of look at it like, the music industry is just difficult, then it's like, okay, so we're already doing the crazy thing, so just don't even care about the rest of it. Don't even care if rock is popular. You're going to make it popular. You're going to do that. Why not? Like, why not, like, you know, try and like have a resurgence yourself, like create that for yourself, like, or like, you know, like it sounds insane, but it all sounds insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It all does. And it's like the same thing is like how, like Timothy Chalamet at his like awards acceptance speech is like I'm a huge fan of the greats, and he listed off a bunch of people, and he was like, I really want to be one of the greats. Like I really want to do that. I want that. And everybody's like, what an ego. Like he can't say that. It's like, why can't he say that? That's awesome. Like he wants to be one of the greats.
Yeah,
and
it could be words of affirmation.
Yeah, it's literally saying like, I want to do this. I'm not saying I'm there now, but I want that. Like I want to make this happen.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with putting that out there.
Yeah, it's like chasing something where it's like everybody who is, you know, you just got to keep going with the like risk taking. You know, it's like if it's possible to make a career in music, why is it impossible to make rock come back?
Oh no, it's
you know what I
possible.
mean? But it's like, yeah, it's that whole thing where it's eyeballs.
It
really is.
Once rock music can get enough eyeballs off of, like, you know, the 10-second TikTok video that they're watching. You know, once rock can get enough eyeballs, and if people care enough about rock, start watching rock on YouTube and going to rock shows, and then rock will have a resurgence. It's just a matter of there's a famous guy that says, you know, where your awareness goes, your energy flows. Right? Don Dupani.
I like that.
And it's true. So like, you know, so I try to watch where my awareness goes, and I try to cut certain things or certain habits or people or whatever out of my life that don't serve me. I've been doing that now consistently for about 8-9 years.
That's great.
And I think that, you know, if people vibe with rock, then support it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Go all in. Like even you said, like you're going to see, going to see bands that are doing 500 cap rooms. You're going to support people that are, that's amazing. You know,
And there are people that do show up. Like
Yeah.
there are people. So like, yeah, it'd be great if there were more people, but it's not like there's not people who like this stuff, and it's a thing, you know, and it will survive. Like I think for a very, very long time. Like I don't think rock will ever truly not happen anymore. Yeah.
One thing that happened to you that you on a show that you didn't expect to happen. Something that went wrong or and what it taught you.
There's been a lot of that. Like things go wrong and that's just how it is. Like maybe people don't show up that much, or there's one thing that stuck with me. I know this is from a really long time ago, but when I first started out performing, I think it was one of my first shows, like maybe my 4th show, and I was really sick, and I was like, well, I'm gonna do the show anyway, and I was like, yeah, like 13 or like 11 or 12 or something like that, and I was so sick, and I went to hit a high note, and it just cracked all over the place. And I remember feeling so embarrassed. And then everybody made fun of me for it for like a year or 2. And it was like, in those moments are like really scary because you're like, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't think that was going to happen. And it's like, that can happen. That could happen now. Like I have cracked on high notes because like maybe there's too much fog in the small venue because somebody brought a fog machine that like is just smoking up the whole place, and now my vocal cords are not hydrated enough.
Yeah,
for
sorry
this.
about that. That's usually the lighting guy's fault.
Yeah. Well, sometimes there's just not even a lighting guy and they just leave it on.
Oh, nice.
You know?
Perfect.
And it's like, okay, awesome. So then, you know, your voice is just like, I think for me, it's about like not having control of my voice. And that's happened on a few occasions, and it's really difficult because it's a part of me, you know, like I want to be in control of it, and it matters. Like people, your vocal like performance is what separates you and what makes you a good singer, or what makes you like, you know, what makes people want to listen to you, you know? As
a singer, that's your talent.
Yeah, like that's what it is. And if like it's not working, that does happen. Like it has happened. And like it's that I would say is like it's rough. It's really rough.
What's one thing that you would tell a younger version of yourself based on the journey you've had so far?
I would tell myself that no one knows what they're doing. Because I used to hold myself back because I thought that I just like there were things that I needed to know, things that I need to find out in order to get to the same level as other people. And like I thought that everybody just knew more things. And that's kind of how I've always felt. Like
people knew more than you, so you should wait to learn before you pursue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, that person has that job because in this industry because they know more than you, and you can't do that job for yourself. It's like, okay, that's not true. Like if you're thinking about like visuals, creative directors, you know, you think about like creative directors and you're like, wow, those people are so good at what they do. How do they do that? How do they know what to do? And yeah, like there's some knowledge about it, but there's also you just do it. You just do it. And that's the same with singing. And it's the same with like navigating everything. So you just do it. You trust your intuition. So it's like, I think literally telling myself like, no one knows what they're doing. So that puts you on like pretty even ground on that term. So like you can control other stuff, but don't hold yourself back from doing things because you think that you're not ready or you're not there yet or you're not good enough yet.
Yeah.
Because no one knows what they're doing. Like people learn things, but no one is like, oh yeah, this is the formula. You know?
So a young person has their first gig, out of town gig specifically. What's your advice?
Literally, don't don't think about it as anything different than what you do. Put on the same show, the same great show that you do. If it's better, then great. Try and make it better. I'll always try to make it better. People have a natural want to like you if they're there. People, if they go to a show, even if they're there for another band, they generally give the opening band or whatever. I would say if you're from out of town, you probably shouldn't be headlining unless you're like you blew up on TikTok or something. But if you're opening up, like people want to like you. So just do your thing. Do what you're good at. Do what you love doing. And do what has gotten you to the point where you can go out of town. Do what you've done to separate yourself from the other local bands who stay local. You're obviously doing something right. So just keep doing that and just don't think about it too much.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you do and don't like about the industry?
What I do like about the industry is the passion behind it. And like just all of the excitement. I love how it's like a game. I think it's like a game. Like people will say like, oh, it's kind of like playing chess. It's like you gotta like know what to do. It's a little bit mysterious. It's a little cinematic. It's very exciting, especially when you can make things more dramatic than they actually are. It's fun. It can be fun. Which is what I really like. It's like it doesn't have to be too serious. You're not saving lives.
It's true.
I mean, like if you make a really great song that blows up, you might be saving lives. But by playing a bad show, you're not killing anyone. I think. I don't want to. Don't quote me on that. But like, it's like it's not that serious. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. You can have fun with it. You can make it as serious as you want. You can make it as dramatic as you want. But it's fun. It's fun. You're doing this because you love music.
Yeah,
that's why you're doing it.
Yeah,
you're not
absolutely.
doing it because you spent so much time on a degree and now you have to do it. No, you're doing it because you love doing it. So just make it fun. That's what I love about the industry. Is it can be so much fun. It can be so exciting. And you can have so many amazing experiences that you would not be able to get. Like if you think about it, pop culture, based on music, based on like viral moments in Vines or like TikToks that you think are funny, or shows, movies, pop culture, right? But music is one of those avenues. So if you think about it, you're like, if you like do really well, you can possibly know like somebody who's like really famous right now. I think about that. I'm like, I know people now that if you told me 3 years ago that I know, I would be like, are you serious? Like mind blown. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, That's so exciting. Like, that's so cool. And then like everybody wants to know these people. You know what I mean? Like so many people want to know these people. It's like, oh, you know these people. And it's not like an ego thing. It's like, no, it's just like, it's really cool. Like, it's really cool to like be able to talk to people that you admire and that other people admire. And that's really sick. So I love that part of the industry. But what I don't like is how it can really wear you down. It can really, like the amount of fear that you have to fight on a daily basis. Like, am I good enough? Like, am I going to go anywhere? The uncertainty of the industry.
Yeah.
It's, to me, that's what I don't like the most. Like above, like obviously there are negative divots that are like circumstantial, but as a overall, like it's really just the uncertainty of like, what if it just doesn't line up for me? Like what if I try my hardest and it just doesn't go anywhere? So that uncertainty is like, am I ever going to make money? Like, cause you have to pour so much money into it. It's like, it's like, am I ever going to get that back? Am I ever going to, be able to retire? Am I ever going to be able to live without 3 other roommates? Or, you know what I mean? It's like, then it's just so uncertain. It's so like, will I be able to feed myself a month from now? For a lot of people, I luckily am not in that situation, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not relying on a good situation I'm in. Like, what if 2 years from now, like that situation isn't there anymore? And like, then it's about being uncertain if you're gonna, as an individual, be able to provide for yourself and have a comfortable life ever. That's scary, right? So that, I would say, is definitely, when I think about things that I get stressed about, mostly that. Because it all leads back there. It's like, oh, what if this song doesn't do well? Okay, go further. Maybe, my numbers go down, or like I paid money for that, like production and marketing or blah, 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 and I put effort into it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, like, then it's like, and what if that means I'm bad? You know what I mean? And that's like, what if I'm just bad? What if I'm bad at music? And then it's like, okay, what if you're bad at music? Then I'm never gonna be able to make money and I will die. Like that's where it all goes back to, you know what I mean? It's like if you go further into like all of the worries, it's like,
yeah, you can't get too lost. If you get too lost in it, you'll never go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
just push forward.
Just push forward. I think,
do your best.
For me, I used to worry a lot more. And then I realized that the same things were going to happen if I was going to worry about them or not. So then to just do things anyway.
I don't know. And I'll ask you this question too, but I don't think based on, like, I know a lot of people that do a lot of different things in terms of their work and in terms of their life. And I think, again, everybody has a different journey, but I feel like, like the highest suicide rate of all professions is like dentistry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I know.
It's like, what?
It's crazy.
So I think it's one of those things where, there's worry and concern and struggle and strife and negativity and all these thoughts that come into people's minds no matter what they pick. But you said the words earlier, right? You do it because it's fun. And I think a lot of people, when I ask them, why did you break up the band? Why did you stop playing? Why did you stop touring? You just said it stopped being fun. And I respect that. Yeah. I have a respect for that, for that answer. So
me too.
I get it.
100%.
If you weren't a musician, what do you think, what do you think you would have done?
When I was 6, I wanted to be a mermaid.
There you go.
Maybe that's possible in like 30 years.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
Like if I could be a mermaid, that'd be really cool. And like to me, I'm like, I was thinking of going to neuropsychology and doing that whole path.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I don't like thinking about it. I do like side projects. Like literally to sustain myself, like I used to work as a server, a waitress, and then like, you do like different jobs, like I sold things or I did this and like little things. And then now I write for people and I sing, like I'm a session singer, ghost singer.
Nice.
Yeah. So like I do it cause I love it. If I could pick another thing to do, I would do that to make money. But I still pick music to make money.
Nice.
And I do it because I love it. And like in my own like artist stuff. But it's like, no, like I love it so much. Like I could have chosen to done music and get a degree. I could still choose to do that, but I don't want to.
No, I get that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I just like, I know that I could do a lot of things. And I think that that made it actually like a harder decision to go into music. Because I was like, I feel like I can do a lot of things with my life, and like scared to pick the one with the most risk and the most like instability. But I already made the crazy decision. So
we're happy you did.
Thanks. I'm also happy I did. Yeah, I like that's why I don't even think about it anymore. I'm like, I can't even, like, it makes me like, ugh, to think about like picking anything else.
So outside of charts and numbers and all that kind of stuff, what does success look like for you? What do you think that is?
I think it's achievements.
Yeah.
I think it's fulfillment. Like, to me, like you can say those numbers and everything, they're achievements. Achievements can look different than that though, too. Achievements can look like, oh, I played outside of the country. Oh, I played to to 5 more people than last time. Oh, I like did all of these things. Or, oh, like now, like, you know, like maybe I'm opening up for this band that I love, and that's an achievement. And it's like, it's all those little things. Like if you're constantly growing and having achievements, then I think that's success. I mean, like personally for myself, I would love to tour the world and do that like sustainably and play like big festivals, play big shows, do that whole thing because it's fun. Because that's fun. Yeah. And I want to make really good songs, and I want to do that for my life, and I never want to worry about what that means for me in terms of like risk financially. I want to get to a point where I don't have to worry about that anymore. And I know that means you literally have to be playing the biggest festivals.
Yeah.
And even then, but you know, like I love it. I love it so much. And every time it gets bigger, I love it. I feel nauseous, but I love it. Like when I got the show offer to play in Brazil, I literally felt sick. I was so happy. I was like, I became nauseous. I was like, that's how much I care. I'm like, oh my God, this is such a big deal. I like feel it physically in my body. Like, I just like, I love it that much, you know?
They're going to love you.
I hope so.
It's going to be great.
I've always had people like, come to Brazil. And I'm like, I'm coming. And they're like, no, come to Sao Paulo, Brazil, not Brasilia. I'm like, I'm sorry. I go where the opportunities take me.
That's it.
You know, but yeah, I'd love to go everywhere. I do. Like, I really want to go everywhere. And like, I love traveling. So
there you go.
You know,
it works out.
It works out. I feel like I've joined my partner on tour, and I love it. Like, I love getting up in a different place every day. I love the chaos. I love it. I love it so much. I love traveling. I love seeing things. I love going on plane rides. I love like feeling like I'm experiencing something new every day. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, I forgot what the original thing we were talking about is. It's awesome. But that's where we ended up.
So Brazil's coming up.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere else that people can check you out before then?
Yeah, we're playing. Where are we playing? Today is February 12th, right?
Yes.
So it's February 12th. February 20th, we're playing Muskoka. February 28th, we're playing in Guelph. And then we're playing a show in Toronto on March 28th. And then after that, I don't know. We'll see. Nice. I have a few things lined up, like even further, like way further. Yeah, but I'm just like taking stuff as it comes and taking what feels right and really focusing on making music and that whole thing right now.
And your EP is coming out on the 27th?
Like the night of the 26th, you know, like midnight 26th, but it's actually the 27th, you know?
Okay.
So
I'm excited to listen to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm excited for it to come out. I mean, this is my first project release, and it's my first release under the label. And like the last thing we released, Mirage, like it got so much like attention from people that I admire, and
it's a great song.
Thank you. I feel really good about it, and like it's always just nice to be able to put things out into the world and face fears of like worrying that I'm not good enough or I'm not worth listening to on a daily basis, basically. It's challenging, but it's also really, really rewarding. So,
yeah. No, it's a great song, and I've seen you perform, and I think, you know, it's going to be a great performance too.
Thank you.
And so, I'm excited to hear the whole.
Yeah, we're putting it into the set now, so
nice.
Be able to hear it live.
Sweet.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
In the meantime, where can people find you online?
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Avalon Stone Music. My website is avalonstonemusic.com. Pretty easy. I have a community
nice.
on my website. It's called The Stone Circle, and it's free. And I just post like a bunch of like BTS or like interesting things and like journalistic format where like I have a camera guy and we like talk about different things or we like explore different things, and it's really fun if you want like more access or like a little look or to join a community of people who like my music. And that's awesome if anyone is interested in that. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's where you find me.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
It's really nice.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Everybody, Ryan here from the show, Music City Live. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode, everybody. Take care. Thank you for watching Music City Live. If you liked this episode, like the video. And for more clips and episodes, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to join the conversation by commenting below and visit us at musiccityliveshow.com.